Hi, welcome to Punchline Talks, the business breakfast briefers. I'm Mark Owen, and each week I invite a panel of business experts to review the morning newspapers, find out what's happened in their own individual business and their own individual business sectors, and finally, what's caught their eye in this week's Punchline. But before I start, I'd just like to thank our fantastic sponsors, like I do every week, Hayswood's Accountants and Business Advisors. Okay, let's see who we've got on the panel this week. We've got Lucien Butler. He's the founder and co-owner of Fitbakes, delicious low sugar, low carbs, low calorie range of cakes and bakes. Fitbakes is available in the best UK supermarkets and online shops with over 4 million bakes sold to date. Based in Cheltenham, has 10 staff and a turnover just approaching £4 million. So we're looking to find out from Lucien what is the what's hot off the shelf, shall we say, in his marketplace. We got Huw Lewis MBE, is the MD of Black Mountain Clothing. The company produces branded clothing from its Ross-on-Wye base. It currently has 15 staff, a turnover of £1 million. It's a tough business to be in, so we'll find out why the company is doing so well. And also, Huw is doing all our latest branded moose marketing and Punchline clothing. So I'm very, very excited about that, Huw, as well. We got Alex Cottrell, Head of External Relationships at University of Gloucestershire. Alex used to be the manager of the Growth Hub, so we'll find out how the Growth Hub now fits into the university and why it's so important that business engage with the university, and how is that university campus doing? It seems to take him forever, Alex. So I'm very excited about that coming down the tracks. And we've got Geoffrey Newsome, CEO of the It's a Digital Trust, formerly IT Schools Africa. The charity has helped 38,000 people in Gloucestershire with IT skills and IT equipment and has provided IT education to over 6 million children in Africa. They're currently looking for donations to make up 10,000 laptops and monitors. So we'll find out why, where, and how you can get involved. Thank you ever so much for the panel joining us today. Okay, let's see what's making the headlines. It's that tragic, terrible crash in India that is making all the headlines today, and it's been obviously the difference between online and the national press. Obviously, we just had today the Israeli strike on Iran as well. But let's have a look at the papers. The Sun, Miracle Britain seat 10 is 11A. Sorry, the Daily Telegraph, the miracle of seat 11A. The Daily Star, miracle of seat 11A. The Mirror, miracle in seat 11A. The miracle of the man in seat 11A who walked away. The Financial Times, more than 240 diners, Air Indian flight crashes. The Times, crash news sold survivor. The Metro, Britain's only survivor of Flight 171. The Eye, British man walks away from crash that kills hundreds. The Daily Mail, I don't know how I'm alive. The Guardian, at least up 260 die as plane on way to UK crashes in India. That's all the headlines. What I'd like to know is, do we all choose what seat we go in? I'd like to sit at the back myself, but I think the 11A is now going to be the most expensive seat on a plane. Okay, let's start with you, Lucien. What have you picked out, please, for us?
Yeah, so I've actually picked out that focused on that article actually because the Times followed it up this morning by, asking that despite recent incidents, is flying still safer than any other form of transport? And it turns out that actually only rail is better. About 240 people were killed in plane crashes last year. It's close to the number who were killed on roads worldwide in just 2 hours. On average in the UK, 5 people die on the roads each day. I'm going to cover that in a second, just because I happened to do a speed awareness course yesterday, so I've gone into a bit more detail there. But one Harvard study from 2017 found that the odds of dying in a plane crash were 1 in 11 million, while the chances of dying in a car crash were nearer to 1 in 5,000. And I can actually just add some data to that, because the course yesterday highlighted a few, and actually the types of roads where these accidents happen is actually quite interesting. So on the motorway, it's actually only 4%. Rural roads, 33%. On an urban, it's the most at 67%, which actually I find that quite alarming, considering that the speed is maximum 30 in Wales. It's now 20, incidentally, which is reduces the incidence of fatal illnesses by 5 times, by the way. I don't know whether you know that. If you go from 30 to 20, you're 5 times less likely now to kill somebody just because of the impact of the car slowing down from that speed and then the follow-on effect into an individual. So long and short of it is, planes, despite the number of incidents, the Times reported today, 2014 was apparently an annus horribilis for accidents, but actually 2013 was the best one on record for, I think, virtually since it started. So these things aren't, the figures can't be correlated, but generally flying is way more safer still than any other mode of transport. Rail, obviously, being the main winner. So I thought I'd pick that one out.
Well, thank you ever so much for that because I am a terrible flyer, by the way. Even though I'm ex-forces, I don't like flying that much. I like to sit next to my wife and squeeze her hand as much as I possibly can on takeoff and
And
landings.
drink
I
some
don't know
Bloody
why.
Marys.
I drink a lot of wine nowadays on a plane, but anyway, I drink a lot of wine anyway. Hugh, let's get you in. What have you picked out for us today, please?
Lovely. Talking about the story of Ballymena. Ballymena, I actually served and spent quite a bit of time in and around Ballymena some 30 years ago. And in comparison to the rest of Ireland, it was really sort of a little bit of a sleepy town, and very little happened actually there. So it's a little bit disturbing that so much has gone so wrong. I think it's 41 police officers actually hurt. And it is disturbing that unrest can happen so quickly. But on the positive, literally 30 years ago, it wouldn't make the news. There would be riots or there'd be violence at this level on a daily basis in Northern Ireland, and it wouldn't make the news at all. So on a positive, there is the fact that it is making news is a massive step to where Northern Ireland was 35 years ago. But again, really disturbing that things can go wrong so quickly in such a short time.
Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Hugh. Okay, let's go to you, Alex. What have you picked out for us today, please?
I've picked out something on a slightly different tangent, and I'm not going to apologise, but it is a shameless plug. But obviously, this week in the papers, we saw the release of some of the university ranking guides. So the complete university guide came out for 2026, and I just think let's take a moment to celebrate our local university, and not just us, Southwest universities, because there was another good one as well. But I think it's an interesting story because universities, I think, are facing such a challenging time. There was the increase in the student fee, which came out, which was effectively wiped out by the national insurance increases as well. So, universities, like sort of many institutions, are having to diversify and innovate. So it was a good news piece, which is that our University of Gloucestershire climbed 16 places nationally and was the second highest climber in the Southwest. Really interesting to see as well where students are heading in terms of, the things that are important to them. But we're seeing sort of lots of growth in our area. So 8th in the UK for physiotherapy. And obviously an incredibly sort of big growth area around those sorts of areas of cyber, which you would expect, obviously, with our local GB, Golden Valley projects and all the activity that's happening in around Cheltenham and the rest of the county. But I think just a really strong indicator for us and other institutions as well that have climbed up in those league tables to really sort of show, how important customer centricity is, and understanding what these learners want. So no small task to be climbing up in league tables during these really, really challenging times. So yeah, I just wanted to pick that one out because I thought green shoots, good news. Let's celebrate that.
Okay, congratulations, Zini. I've got to ask you, so what position are you guys in?
We are currently at 72 out of 130.
Okay, congratulations.
All
16
right.
places up as well. Okay, thanks ever so much for that, Alex. Geoffrey, what have you picked out for us, please?
I've chosen a news piece about HMRC. So this is HM Revenue and Customs. And this is news that to save tens of millions of pounds, they're going to stop sending letters to people unless they want to ask for more money from you. And that means that everyone is going to have to communicate with them online and by email, which is fine, of course, if you have computers, skills, connectivity. It's a problem if you don't. So 2 things about this. Firstly, it just reminds us that not everyone yet has devices, skills, and internet access. But also for us as business people and anyone running organizations, sometimes we go at things too fast. Has this been prepared for, or is it just somebody at the top who said, let's do it before the ground's been prepared? So that's an interesting story for me.
I always think that, it's the elderly that are left behind, isn't it? And it seems time and time again we've got the same problem with the banks. The banks push, everybody into an online account, and again the elderly don't have them.
I've noticed it particularly with doctors' surgeries. My parents have this experience where the surgery is trying to push them to book appointments, get repeat prescriptions through apps, and they're having meetings in the surgery to try to explain to the old folks, older folks, and not just older folks, how to use these devices. And people are leaving totally confused about. So I know at least one person who's just said they're not going to go to the doctor anymore, which is pretty serious when you're, in your 80s.
Without a shadow of a doubt. No,
So-
thanks ever so much for that. Have you got one other story, Geoffrey, very quickly?
Well, I've got funny enough, a nice piece about doctor's surgery up in the north of England and about the pressure receptionists are under from basically a doubling of calls since the pandemic. And that the increasing workload is very much because of people wanting fit notes. But also the article is particularly interesting because how unpleasant people can be to these receptionists who are basically trying to help us. And again, that's interesting to me. For all of us running organizations, we try to make sure everyone's motivated. We try to make sure work is a nice place to be. But if you're dealing with very stressed, often aggressive customers, that's something we often don't think about enough. We want the business, we want the relationships, but are we actually putting our staff through a lot? Should we try and do more to? Well, it's a very big question, this one. But how do you cope? Supermarkets, for example, are being threatened by people. How do you? Yeah, it's a big question.
Geoffrey, I do this show quite regularly, and the amount of times it comes up how rude people are. If you got, I think Britain used to be a country of very patient people and very polite people, and I just feel that's gone down the toilet. I really do. I think people just completely lost it recently, and I think it's because they can bang off on social media. They think they can just say whatever they like, treat people the way they like. I think people go home absolutely distressed. You're a shopkeeper and you've been shouted at by some person. I think the person behind the abuse has been lost. I don't know about you guys. You must deal with the general public a lot. I mean, that's the thing, actually. Let's be honest with it. I'm very fortunate. I only deal with business people. Well, no, I don't actually. I do have an audience that does write in and stuff like that. But generally, business to business people, we have a line we don't cross, do we? At the end of the day, we can decide who we want to do business with. Not so much, I think, if you work in a retail outlet or if you're on the reception desk, easy targets. Anyway, thanks ever so much for that. Just my little rant there. Sorry about that. Lucien, let's bring you in. Let's talk about Fitbakes.
I'm just going to cover that by saying, actually, in our industry, I'm sure Huw will know this. The customer is always right, unfortunately, and in fact, very often the best resource for your business in terms of understanding whether you're doing the right thing is to pick up the phone and talk to consumers. In fact, every angry consumer I have about something, how big or small, I love diving in. I'm the one who dives in. Nobody else wants to dive in, but I love it. And the reason is because at the end of it, there's always something, a lesson you learn behind the anger. There are a small minority that are just an absolute nightmare and are just built that way, and I work that out pretty quickly. But generally, the lesson here is you learn a lot from people, your consumers, about what might made them angry, what the motivation was, and then you can implement changes in the business. I think a lot of people with technology now, they won't outreach, and actually a lot of people are very lonely. They do want to be spoken to. Quite often a lot of anger is about because nobody feels as if they're not being listened to. So there is a bit of a shift there in terms of society and the way we're going. So I think you're going to have a lot more increase now in person to person marketing and ability to reach out to people, because it is missing.
Okay, let's carry this conversation forward. Huw, I'm going to bring you in on this as well. Is it similar to your business?
I agree. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. It really does, and you can learn so much by talking to your customers. And I do exactly the same. If there's a complaint, I'm straight on the phone and trying to find out with a genuine interest to find out what we've got wrong. And one of the biggest things is usually lack of communication. So much is automated and systemized. But fundamentally, if you just pick up a phone and talk to the person and say, look, this and this has happened, you know, sometimes a t-shirt we put on and the machine decides to chew it up, so it's going to be delayed. We phone them up, explain exactly what's happened, and 99.9% people are really happy. They're only not happy is if we don't talk to them. There was I was reading about the Uber. You know, you probably somebody in this forum would know how much Uber is worth. It's absolutely worth billions, and it all derived from two Americans stuck in Paris on a rainy Sunday trying to get a taxi, and what they wanted to know was how long it would take for that taxi to arrive. And the whole basis of Uber, there's no value of it, is about telling you exactly where that car is. And we probably all have actually watched that little image of a car coming around the corner, and it becomes a fascination. So I think that whole process of humanizing, like you're saying there, Lucien, and communicating to people, it really is an opportunity there for businesses, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks ever so much. I'm going to bring you back in, Lucien. Let's talk about Fitbakes, please. I'm going to bring up your website. If I could just go. Sorry, just 1 second. Everybody, right. It should be there. Can you see?
Yes. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, delicious, low carb, big taste. It says there. So, how is the business going, Lucien? The last time I spoke to you, you were all guns blazing.
Yes.
What's it like now?
Yeah, we are. In fact, this week we're literally launching nationwide in Holland Barratt, so you can find our lovely wraps and bread nationwide in all our stores. Fitbakes, I won't bore everybody with the details, but essentially it's just about having any bake product that used to be a naughty product, shall we say. We've made them so that you can have them not as a treat, but every day of your staples. So whether that's a cake, a bake, a wrap, or bread. We are aiming to be the #1 brand in the UK and Europe that allows people to have their bake or cake and eat it too. So in other words, you know, if you don't want to worry about your blood sugar and glucose control, then you can have any product that we do. It's essentially what we're all about. We've spent years reformulating unhealthy products into healthier products using the best ingredients we possibly can. And you know, the supermarkets are now finally kind of waking up to it. But online we're still biggest, but we are definitely now launching into a lot more supermarkets. So Holland Barratt, Ocado, we're large now. Amazon, we're huge. But yeah, that's basically it. And it's all born out of my wife's and I. You know, struggle with nutrition and you know, weight control, and just ensuring that we get the best nutrition we can out of an area that traditionally has been ignored.
Yes, go on, Geoffrey.
That's absolutely marvelous. That's marvelous. I mean, going back to the NHS, for example, and we've just had a new budget, and will the answer ever be to throw more and more money at it? Part of the answer has to be healthier living. Yeah. And it's amazing that business again is taking the lead. So that's really, really fantastic.
Nice to hear. Thank you. Yeah.
How did you get into Holland and Barratt, Lucien? Was it
by knocking on the door? Huw will know this. You've just got to keep battering on the door to buyers, and you know, hiring the right. I'm a great believer in hiring your weaknesses, so areas that we're not strong on. And for Ella and I, my wife, we're not strong in a lot of areas because we don't come from retail. We knew nothing about this area. We just surrounded ourselves with good people, and you know, asked as many people as we could to get involved when we didn't have anything on the mission that we were trying to just explain to people. And then eventually buyers just fold. I think our buyer, Holland Barratt, just said, look, I'm sick of the phone calls. We're just going to let you in and let's just see what happens. So we're quite excited about it, actually, because Holland Barratt is that's a perfect area for us, really. And Ocado's done really well in that area. So we know we're resonating with certain customers.
And is it a complete UK rollout at Holland Barratt?
Yes, it is. For Holland Barratt, it's national. Yeah. So
all right. Well, congratulations. That's absolutely huge. We should like to do a story on it, Lucien.
Yes. Give me 6 months, I'll tell you what the story is.
Okay, thanks ever so much. We're going to go over to Huw now. Again, I'm going to go to Huw's website. If I could get this right again, I'm going to flip between these two. Okay, Huw. Where are you? Where are you going? There you are. Right, there's your product, Black Mountain.
Yeah.
Now, I first met you in Ross-on-Wye when I was delivering the magazines there, and can you tell us about the company and about the sort of stuff that you do?
Yeah, so basically, the company was born out of a necessity. My previous company was called the Motivational Preparation College for Training, and basically it was a college that worked with over 3,000 young people a year to support them. Majority of them from challenging backgrounds, support them to go into employment. And I had 200 staff across the UK, and we wanted everybody to be part of something bigger. And being part of something bigger meant that they were in uniform. I just couldn't find anybody that would supply the uniform on time and fulfill that promise. So we set up our own company. My poor wife, we bought a machine, an embroidery machine, put it in the cellar some 10 years ago. And very quickly, our delivery dates, timelines, everything else were quicker than anybody else out there. So we've taken that on quite a long way now. So we have, like you said, 15 staff. And the whole idea is that it's all done in Ross-on-Wye. A lot of this industry is outsourced overseas for obvious reasons. But by having control of it, we can turn it around and fulfill that promise as and when the orders come through. Because it's important for people to have the kit at the right time and the right place. And it's going really, really well. And it's a lot of fun, to be fair. You meet a lot of good people, and it's just the whole ethos is that we are part of their home team. So we'll create, for example, we work with a telecommunications company, an American company based up in the Northeast, and we've created a microsite for them. So the idea is their main effort is their industry, but they want their people kitted out with the uniform within 3 clicks. We all know that you need to be able to purchase something within 3 clicks, and it just makes it super easy for anybody and everybody. We work with steelworks, we work with all types of industry. So that's that core business where we're working to B2B and making it as seamless and as easy for the customer as possible.
Now, is there a particular product that is your best selling product, or is it right across the board, or is it always like this, polos and stuff?
You've got top 5. You got a top 5. So you got t-shirt, polo, sweatshirt, soft shell, and a gilet. Those are the top 5. So but again, we listen to the customers, and everybody wants something different. Every single customer will want something unique and specific for them. And what's lovely, because we've got the expertise in the team, from graphic designers to the embroiders. It's still, it's still a skill and an art to it. We can solve pretty well most problems that anybody wants. And again, you're working with local schools and rugby clubs and football teams. So yeah, I really enjoy it. It's really good.
Yeah, you can feel it, enthusiasm knock over. I tell you, thanks ever so much for that. As someone who's bought from you as well, it's all very, very slick. There we go. Give me a final push there, Huw. Okay, let's go over to you, Alex. I mean, again, talking about someone enthusiastic. I've always loved your enthusiasm, Alex, and the growth of wherever you are. You just love it, don't you?
I do. I have to be honest. I'm so fortunate. And I was just going to pick up on the conversation earlier on around communication and stuff like that. And obviously, kind of clues in the title, Head of External Relationships. My job is very much about those relationships. So I just echo everything that colleagues have said. And also, one thing I would say is that everyone always assumes that communication is about telling, but actually it's about listening. So it is that kind of key. And so I think what's been said about I'd rather have someone grumpy on the phone than somebody being really grumpy and not telling me about it and just not communicating with me further forward. So just wanted to get that one in. But yeah, we've got lots to celebrate at the university, which is fantastic. We've got a slightly different model in terms of kind of the growth hub angle. And that's really just come down to the way that the funding's been allocated. Whilst we don't have a physical growth hub at the University of Gloucestershire now, we still have a business support offer, and we're absolutely connected into the rest of the Growth Hub network. We are working really closely with City Council to be focusing our efforts very much on that early stage, pre-start up to 3 years kind of business survival rate for the city centre, because that's what has been decided, that's what we need. So we're doing that as a programme. which then obviously dovetails beautifully into City Campus, which you referenced earlier on, Mark, and thank you for your continued patience with City Campus coming on board. But we are set, we're ready to go. We are just finalising up the works now. We will start teaching in City Campus at the end of August. We've got a really exciting kind of campaign of pre-launch and launch activities, which will start. We've got a BBC campaign starting shortly. We run right through to the end of the year. And the real driver with City Campus is basically community engagement. So for those of you that don't know, we will have the county library on the ground floor. It's an open access building. Obviously, we're going to have lots of teaching in there, but working really closely with all of our local stakeholder groups. Loads of interest from students, which is fantastic. We're expecting sort of 600-700 students to be working out of City Campus in King's Square kind of from September. With them are obviously going to come over, over 100 staff. So pumping lots and lots of energy, activity, and cash into that area. So we have an open day tomorrow where we are fully booked for learners and their families to come around and have a look around, which is great. But we're also going to be running a campaign shortly. We really want to work with the local independent businesses and independent retailers to make sure that we're encouraging our students and our staffs to stay in Gloucester, to buy in Gloucester. So we will be coming out shortly. We're going to be doing a bit of a walking tour in a couple of weeks, really asking local retailers, do you have an offer that you want to give to students or staff? If so, let us know and we can really, really help promote and drive. So we're absolutely committed to making sure that, our staff, our students, and anyone who's coming to City Campus is helping to drive that local economy as well. So that's a really important part of what's going on. But yeah, literally a matter of weeks and then you can get inside.
Okay, fantastic. I've got to get back in there and do another little video as well, Alex. Thank you ever so much for that. Great to hear. Geoffrey, let's bring you back in. Let's talk about obviously, you've got a campaign at the moment, haven't you, to try and get 10,000 computers and laptops. Can you tell us about that, please?
Exactly right. So that's just because of the need. There's just an enormous need in the county and in schools in Africa for IT equipment so that people can be more included in this digital era. If you don't have computers and skills in this modern digital era, you get seriously left behind. And so this is not even about the computers, it's about giving people opportunities to go on to employment, to education, and to be able to access services online and be more included socially because so much is online now. So, for example, 10,000 sounds a lot, but we've just donated 1,000th laptop to charities in Gloucestershire, and in 2 months, April and May, we sent nearly 9,000 bits of IT equipment to educate children in East Africa. So it sounds a lot, but it's just what the need is. And
I suppose it doesn't stop, does it? It's a continual process.
It's fascinating. Yes, you can really never have enough. It's quite extraordinary in the county, just how emotional these stories are about how donating a laptop to somebody will transform their life. So I won't talk about each individual story, but just to say to you all, it's very touching. And basically what we're doing is we're taking a device that somebody doesn't want, we're saving it from going to landfill, we're refurbishing it, and we're giving it to somebody who desperately wants it. So, there are three winners there. There's the person who doesn't want the kit anymore, there's the planet, and there's the person who's going to benefit at the end of it.
And how do we get involved in this, Geoffrey?
The best thing would be to go to our website. So with It's a Digital Trust, there's a contact form there where you can contact us. And we work particularly with businesses. So, for example, yesterday we went and collected a lot of kit from Renishaw. But we have our own van. We'll go and make collections and bring the equipment back. That's the best way, I would say. Go to the website. A lot of the staff are part-timers, so you might struggle to get through on the phone sometime. If people would contact us.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've just got one laptop or two, does it? I donated four recently to you guys.
You did. As I say, each laptop can transform people's life chances. So yes, even that one laptop, that one desktop, that one monitor. Yes. And in the case of schools in Africa, each device educates 100 children over the course of 6 years. So as you say, one device can make a lot of difference to people.
Okay, that's fantastic. You do a fantastic job. And do you want to plug your business club as well, very quickly? You have your business
Well,
club.
yeah, certainly. So you were at the launch, weren't you, in November at Colamira, which is one of the founding partners alongside the University of Gloucestershire and Spirax Sarco and Commercial and others. And the whole point about social value, it's a very big thing now in business. But if you want to win business, for example, from government, it's not just about your price and your service anymore. You have to demonstrate the good you're doing in the community. And so the Social Value Club is businesses working with us so that we can do more social value, more social value in the county. And of course, businesses can then demonstrate that to their customers in their tender documents and so on. So they win more business, we do more social value. It's that situation again of everybody winning.
Okay, well, thanks ever so much for that, Geoffrey. And it was a very good and entertaining afternoon, shall I say, as well. So thank you for that. Okay, guys, just very quickly, I want to talk about the sort of hot topic really about retail online. We touched on it earlier because obviously Lucien and Huw and well, we all buy from online. I'd say, Lucien, let's go with you first of all. What's the number one thing you ought to be able to do when when you look at your website, the customers' interaction and stuff? What's the most important thing then for business?
First of all, you should be asking my wife that because she's the one that does the digital skills. She's the one with the computer science degree. But what's the number one? I suppose it's the ability to get the message across. I mean, Hugh will know that. I think simplicity is key as well. I think people are bombarded right now with lots of images. So I think making the brand as homogenous as possible and making it so that the messaging on every single product is congruent with the overarching sort of mission of the brand, if you like. I think that's something that we review in our board meetings quite a lot is, are we getting the message out there? It's a changing landscape as well, because of course, how you drive people to the website is changing the whole time as well. It used to be Instagram, now it's TikTok, and Instagram's still there, and then SEO is always strong and Google searches, but there's a whole we've got an Amazon has got its own ecosystem separately. I mean, don't get me started on that. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So I would say it's changing extremely rapidly, and you've just got to keep retooling yourself. Got to keep sharpening that axe, in terms of your business ability to cut through. You just got to keep doing it and keep relearning. And online is just such a fast changing landscape. And I think this is why you're seeing, a lot of youngsters right now who are coming out of nowhere and building phenomenal brands really, really quickly. I mean, Huw and Alex, Geoffrey, everybody, we would all seen this, recently. You've seen youngsters build something that's come from nowhere. And why? Because they're really, really clued up when it comes to, social media and the digital landscape. They're just on it. And if we're not careful, we will get left behind really quickly. I mean, that's something that I keep saying to my wife, we just need to recruit younger and younger people because they know what's happening. I mean, when I see my kids now, the ability, the speed they can go around phones and laptops, it's a dizzying blur, frankly. So it's a fast moving landscape, retail online. It really is.
So, Huw, how do you keep up with it all then? Do you have a team of people that do it there, or because competition in your particular sector? Let's be honest, it is there are lots of other companies, aren't there?
God, yeah, really is a challenging environment. So we've gone at it from a different perspective. It's about the journey in terms of production. So our website is not the most beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, it's a thing of magic. So we can get all the orders through beautifully. And then stage 2 is to bring it up. But I echo what Lucien said about having young people, bright young people. They think differently and they act differently. And quite interestingly, I did a Growth Hub course Monday on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
It blew my brain. Back to the changing landscape. There's things out there that I couldn't even imagine. And so I spent a morning being bamboozled and feeling very, very, very old at the end of it. But with a commitment to keep on sharpening the sword, like you said, Lucien, and keep on developing and working on it. So we've got, I think it's almost like the arms race. You're always trying to catch up, develop and go on. I think it's a positive. I really do think there's a positive. Jumping across, you're saying about, I think one of your articles, maybe it's wrong place, but about Poundland, the demise of that, 800 odd shops plus 16,000 staff have lost their jobs. I think the high street is changing. It really has changed massively. I was in Abergavenny. I don't know if anybody knows Abergavenny, but go back 20 years and every other shop was empty. You go there now and it's thriving. But they're different types of shops. They're really high end, or cafes, or eateries, or just nice places to be. It's a nice place to be. So I think the whole aspect of online and what the high street is going to be very shortly has changed radically, and it's not going to go back. So as digital innovators, we've just got to work harder to make it happen, I think.
Okay, unfortunately, guys, we're kind of running out of time, so I'm going to have to ask you for the pick of the punchlines. I'm going to start with you, Geoffrey. What have you picked out from this week's punchline? Unfortunately, we've got to keep it kind of tight, though, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, it sort of picks up on Hugh's point about how city centres have changed. So this is a story on Punchline about Cobbler's Corner in Cheltenham. It's an iconic, it's visually an iconic store, and I've been in there many times. And that's closing after many, many years. And just essentially because there's not the footfall there used to be in the centre of town. So that's a very interesting story to me.
No, thank you for that. Alex, what have you picked out from this week's punchline?
Yeah, I picked out on the Rolls-Royce story. So Rolls-Royce SMR being given the go-ahead to work on the 6 sort of small nuclear reactors, obviously looking at Bartley, places like that. Obviously, Dale Vince quoted in your story about that quite correctly, in terms of, one perception of that, but the other perception that I was interested in is masses of opportunity there for skills development, workforce development, investment, research and technology. A really interesting space that we're looking to get very involved with as well, just in terms of upskilling people, training and learning.
Alex, I just want to say that I think it's the most exciting thing that's happened in the county for a long time. It could actually be a complete game changer. I don't think really people have woken up to how big an opportunity it is for all of us. No, I couldn't agree more, especially for the young people, and universities as well. Huw, what have you picked out? Huw, you've done your story. Lucien, what have you picked out, please?
I'll just finish off on the 29, the Rachel Reeves comments this week, specifically focusing on the £29 billion real terms increase, but actually it's a £53 billion cash increase going into, guess what, the NHS. Don't get me started, but I mean, my view on that is that we need to be far more preventative in order that we don't keep spending that way. The NHS cannot continue the way it's going. It just cannot, and we cannot continue to keep throwing money at it. People need to take responsibility for their health. And we can't keep doing this, basically. So something's got to give.
Okay, especially as there's so many other things that need doing, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. Yeah. Thank you ever so much to my wonderful panel this week. It's been a huge pleasure to have you on the show. Big, massive thanks to our sponsors, Hazelwood's Accountants and Business Advisors, and a big thank you to all of you guys watching as well. If you enjoy the show, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be back again next week. But until then, remember, it's all in the punchline. Thank you very much. Bye.
All right.